What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Scratch Agency podcast, hosted by Scratch Agents for Scratch Agents. This episode is brought to you by Virtual Intelligence, your premier partner for client-facing and back-office virtual employees. My name is Stephen Turnbull, founder of T5 Insurance Services in Clinton, New York, and I'm joined by my co-host today, the one and only, you already know, hold your applause, Mr. Sean Fitzgerald, founder of Sound Harbor Insurance in Long Island, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, you got a solo podcast with the two of us today. Wore our white shirts and our blue suits for the occasion to make it happen. Big things going on at Sound Harbor, I'm sure. Mr. Fitzgerald, how we doing?
Dude, we are doing great. Got a couple of interviews today, which I am excited about. Although I shouldn't say a couple, it's one, because the first one I had was late and then rescheduled on it a minute after the interview was scheduled for. So that wasn't a good start. But we got the second one rolling up here in the next couple of hours. So excited to keep expanding the team and seeing what we can do.
What's the interview for?
Personal lines customer success manager. So basically an account manager for personal lines.
Good stuff.
A licensed person. It's going to be fully remote. It's actually going to be part-time. So we'll see how that all goes and kind of take it from there. My thought process behind it is start part-time, see how it goes, make sure they're committed, and then kind of give them a 90-day probation period and then go from there. So I'm trying the part-time thing. We've heard a lot of different things about why you shouldn't do it, why you should do it. So I'm just giving it a shot, seeing what happens and taking it from there.
Yeah, the shoe fits, wear it. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's
what else
man.
is going on?
Dude, a whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm pumped. Next week, we got our mastermind meeting, which I am so fired up for because there's a lot of people on our mastermind I haven't even met in person before. As a matter of fact, I think I only met one person from our mastermind in person before. So I'm super excited to get that kicked off. And we're all going to be presenting on a certain topic in front of the group, which is going to be freaking awesome. So, dude, I'm excited about it. And of course, I get to sit down with you, have a couple drinks. It's going to be a good time.
I'm pumped. I think that's what we wanted to talk about today. What Sean's alluding to is the mastermind that we've kind of just created off of the relationship we've made from the podcast, from the community in general, in the insurance world, whatever. But the message for today is create your circle. And I think that's what Sean and I want to touch on. I think we could do a 5-hour podcast about talking about that. Creating your circle in your own community, creating your circle with your client, whatever. We're referring to now with other insurance professionals and where we are in our careers and what we've done to, foster those relationships. I can tell you there's a handful. I can't even hold them with two hands. The amount of people that have helped me get to the point that I'm at today. And I won't even begin to name names because we'll be here all day. But this mastermind that we've created has been so cool because we capped it at a certain amount of people. There's only 8 of us. It's people that are scratch. It's people that are at different journeys, have had their agency for 21 years or have had their agency for 2 years and bring different value and different things. And Sean, I think one of the things that makes our mastermind so successful is that we're consistent.
100%.
And we made it so that it's doable. We meet every 2 weeks, the same time, the same day, every 2 weeks, a Zoom call. We kind of set it up like a BNI format of just expectations that we want people to be there. And once we got more comfortable with the mastermind family, if you will, we decided we're going to do a meetup. And so that's what's going on next week. So super excited for it. We're going down. Mike Cruz is in our group. And so we thought we're going to spread out each year and go to someone's different locations. So we're going down to DC to see him, and he's got everything set up for us. But yeah, it's just, I'm super excited for it because to Sean's point, there's a lot of people that we've interacted with that maybe we talk to daily at this point of needing help or helping each other and haven't even met them in person. So it's going to be good to break bread and get together.
Yeah, when I think about the benefits of having a mastermind, right, and why others should look to create their own or join others if they can, is really 4 different parts, right? You have the accountability aspect of it, right? So for instance, like one of the things we do is like talk about like the goals we want to achieve, right? So if I say that out loud to the group, they're going to hold me accountable to that goal, right? So that's one, to me, the accountability is one huge thing. Fighting off limiting beliefs. Maybe I talk to Steven in the mastermind, I tell him, hey, this is my annual goal, and Steven pushes me on that. Hey, Sean, why only 100,000 new revenue? Why not 2? So helping fight off limiting beliefs, would say this is the second part. 3, which everyone's heard here, is you are the 5 people closest to you that you surround yourself with, right? So with a mastermind, depending on the size of the group, you're going to be surrounded with other hungry, motivated entrepreneurs that are on a similar path as you or ahead of you, which is great, you know? And then the last part is, which you and I talk about all the time, is the journey as a scratch agency owner specifically can get pretty lonely if you don't have other people to talk to and relate to about what's going on, you know, on the journey. So for instance, Steven and I talk several times a week, and sometimes, listen, we call each other and I just complain about, you know, I might just complain about what's going on in the agency because I got to get that off my chest. And I know Steven can relate to it and he'll do the same thing. And listen, we don't do that every call, but I think it's important to have somebody that you can do that with. Yeah, every other call, once a day. So I just think that those 4 things are probably the main reason why you should be a part of a mastermind. Would you agree with that?
Can I add one I think you missed, and that's experience. And I don't even just say that from finding experienced people. Like I said, I think we're very lucky in our group that we have someone that's been in it for 21 years, someone who I think has been in it for 14 years. And then I think one of them is taking over a family agency. I think I might be the newest one, 2.5 years. So you have 2.5 years and 21 years of experience. But I don't even say experience from finding someone who's been in the game for a long time. I mean experience from the standpoint of we have 8 different people that are experiencing different agency ownership journeys that can bring their experience back to the table. And we were talking about this meetup. And one thing that we did, I'd like to share with everybody, is everybody is going to present on a different topic. Sean's going to present on something that he's really good at. I'm going to present on something that I feel I'm good at. And that's what our mastermind meetup is going to be. And we talked about, do we bring in speakers? Do we want someone to talk to us from the local community that we're in? Do we want, to have someone in about sales, whatever it is? And one of the members brought up, the unique thing that we overlook about this group is that we're all bringing in our own experiences. So it's not really 8 people that you're meeting with, it's 8 people's circles, right?
Yeah.
So something
100%.
that I learned in my local community in Utica, I can bring to the group, right? That's not coming from Steven, but something that I learned. So that's something. And then Sean, just to add to that point, we've been very specific about how we want to keep it small. And from that standpoint, I love to, the scratch agency community that we built, 50 people. I love jumping on a call with all 50 of those people every 2 weeks. Is that realistic to be able to provide value to each other and be able to learn? No. But having it at the 8 people that we do, we can get through the call in an hour. We can get enough value to everybody, and then people can give enough value and take that from a time constraint. So I guess the point that I wanted to do this solo podcast for today, Sean, was to just say, find your circle. And it's as easy as finding the people. Start with one person. It's funny enough, the mastermind that we have started with me reaching out to somebody else, and him and I met every week for like 6 months. That individual is not even in the mastermind anymore for one reason or another.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool how you can just build on that. Like, just find another person, make them an accountability partner, find a third person, and then meet up, whatever it is. But it's so valuable to what we're doing each and every day, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the experience, and we've all heard the quote, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the beautiful things about the mastermind is, we haven't said this before, but we asked somebody to come into the mastermind who had a lot more experience than all of us and who has a very large team. And it was a bit of a reach to even ask, but we asked, we shot our shot. They didn't join the mastermind, but that's fine. I feel like you got to take some of those shots because you want at least a few people in there that have a lot of experience that you can take from as well,
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the biggest takeaway is for you? I think we've been meeting consistently for at least a year.
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway for you that maybe you didn't expect?
Definitely the accountability aspect of it. Like I can't tell you how many times, because one of the things we do with our mastermind is we hold each other accountable. By the time we get to our next call, we have to accomplish a specific task, right? So I would say at least a quarter of the time, I find myself a couple of days before the meeting, like, holy crap, I got to get this task done because I don't want to tell the group I'm red. and that I didn't do the task, you know? So and I feel like that's without anyone even saying anything to me. But I don't want to say the fear, but like, I don't, I don't want to come to that group and be like, yeah, I didn't complete my task today. Oh yeah, I didn't do my task again today. Oh, I didn't do it again. I want to be the person that hits that task every time. So definitely I knew the accountability was going to be a big part of it. I just didn't realize how big it's pushed me to complete a lot of different playbooks I was working on. The learning management system that I've built out, a lot of that stuff has come from the mastermind group. So, it's been invaluable for me. What about you?
I would say the vulnerability.
Yeah.
And from an unexpected standpoint, I think there's 8 of us that have gotten to know each other very well and have shared wins, but also losses. Right.
Very true.
And even more so past losses experiences, where you got to be vulnerable of saying, hey, here's my revenue. I don't know if this hire is great, but I want to do this and here's why, or, whatever, and kind of open yourself up. And I think that comes with time of finding the people that in the group that you can trust and truly have your best interest. And, the cool part is like everybody was making the trip too. There was never like, oh, well, I don't know if I, whatever. And I think I was talking to one of the other guys and they were like, I can't believe everybody's making the trip. So it's it's just super exciting. And I just challenge everybody again to just say, well, I don't really know that, too many people in the industry. Reach out to someone you see on Facebook. I think of Taylor Garcia as a great friend of ours. He's become a great friend of ours. I saw him doing his videos, reached out to him to be on the podcast, started our friendship, introduced him. You know what I mean? That's how that friendship happens. So just put yourself out there and be vulnerable, and it'll be it's been one of the best things for my business that I can think of, because we just have, there's the consistency, the accountability, and you add those things together and the rest of it kind of falls into place.
Dude, 100%. I think the key takeaway from what you just said is it doesn't have to be a large group. If it's you and one other person, that's fine. Start there and then figure out what you want from the group, and just make sure anybody you bring into the group shares that vision and those core values, So I would say that's the biggest takeaway from it. You don't go into it scared thinking, oh, it's got to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. Like you said, it was you and one other person when you first started it, and then it completely transformed into something else. So Don't let it overwhelm you or scare you. Start with one other person and build from there.
For sure. All right, I think we'll wrap this up. Another solo episode, everybody. Thank you for all the support and just the journey, man. It's been fun. While it's just Sean and I'll take a minute to thank everybody. Make sure to join the Scratch Agency Podcast community, scratchagencypodcast.com. Click join the community. It is a free community. There are 0 strings attached to anything. Join the community. There's 51 people, I believe, that are in there, Scratch people that are helping people provide value. That thing is digging all day long. Do us a favor, check us out there, and share the show. I don't think we've ever really asked, but if I haven't asked today, if you know of anybody in the journey, you know of anybody thinking of maybe doing this Scratch thing in insurance in general, help us, share the show so that we can impact more people, because that's what it's all about. Everybody, that's another episode of the Scratch Agency Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor, like the show, share the show, and subscribe. But most importantly, remember to dig down deep, believe in yourself, and own your own future. We'll see you next week. Take care.